the accessibility that social media has brought over the last 5-10 years has just kind of ticked up our radars to see through the crap a little bit. And now people can focus on authentic content and original content, and more than anything, relatable content.
Welcome to Mitlin Money Mindset, your weekly dose of inspiration and insights to ensure you enjoy each step of your journey. Whether you're saving for the future, planning your next big adventure, or simply looking to add more joy to your life, you've come to the right place. Now, let's dive in.
Struggling to stand out in a crowded industry? Wondering how to turn your passion into a career? You're not alone. The world of hockey and social media can feel like a tough game to break into. But what if you had a roadmap from someone who's done it? Meet Nick Bowins, a hockey media powerhouse who co-founded Hockey Collective, one of the largest online hockey communities with nearly 400,000 followers. He saw the challenges of breaking into the industry and built Working in Hockey to help others find their way. Today, he's sharing his playbook on leveraging social media, building a personal brand, and unlocking career opportunities in hockey and beyond. If you're ready to turn passion into opportunity, this episode's for you. I'm Larry Sprung, your host for the Mitlin Money Mindset and founder and wealth advisor of Mitlin Financial. Let's dive into today's show. Well, Nick, I am super excited to have you with us today, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Larry. Excited to chat here and a fan of what you've built.
Oh, thank you so much. Our listeners are going to love this one because they love hockey. And if they didn't when they started listening to the show, they definitely do now because we have a heavy tilt there. So, I want to spend a lot of time on what, you're doing today as the founder of Working in Hockey. But before we dive into, deeper areas around that, can you tell us about your entrepreneurial journey? Our listeners, a lot of them are entrepreneurs. They're on this journey themselves, or they're thinking about embarking on it. I think that stories like yours and others are super helpful to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I'm the founder of Working in Hockey. I've worked with a lot of different hockey brands over the past 5, 6, 7 years since graduating sports business at the University of Waterloo. I grew up in small town Ontario. Hockey was everything we did all day, every day. We were outside playing mini sticks in the snow. We were playing NHL video game. We were going to morning practice, night game, whatever it was. Hockey was everything that we were doing. So hockey's always been a big part of my life and my day to day. I'd worked for a couple hockey teams in the OHL and whatnot during my university days. Ultimately graduated during COVID when I thought I was going to have a hockey job. Hockey wasn't being played, so kind of took to the internet and social media to have a bit of a hockey creative outlet there. So I've worked some more normal jobs, some desk jobs, some jobs in tech here, but I've always had kind of my toes in the hockey media scene as a creative outlet, side projects, passion projects along the way. So Working in Hockey is the latest one, coming up on a year that I've been doing it now, and it's been an awesome journey so far.
Yeah, and for those who cannot see this because you're listening, I love the throwback to the Hartford Whalers hat that you're
Thank you.
wearing. It's definitely a classic for sure. So
It's
so
one of the best logos ever.
yeah, do you have is there an entrepreneurial background that you have in terms of family that you kind of wanted to come up through that rank and not do that traditional desk job 9 to 5, if you will?
Yeah, not really. I'd probably the opposite, honestly. My dad's an engineer and my mom works in schools, so kind of the opposite of entrepreneurial there. And they've always just instilled kind of hard work and whatnot in my sister and I. So definitely hard work and kind of put your head down and grind was always the mantra in our family, and that kind of led to some entrepreneurial endeavors. But I love creating things. I love starting new projects, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and sometimes people think it's a great idea, and sometimes people say, "What the heck are you doing, man? Like, why are you trying to do this?" So the entrepreneurial side for me has always been fun. And then my day job, like I say, I work for a tech company called ShyftLabs. I'm the director of operations, and I got in here about 4 years ago. I think I was the fifth or sixth one on the team, and today we're about 150, 160 people globally. So that kind of being the right hand man to a real entrepreneur has just shown me a lot through business and through entrepreneurship that has taught me a lot for working in hockey and my own little projects.
A lot of learning going on, it sounds like. So that's fantastic. So, what, inspired you to kind of take the combination of social media and hockey, right? I think that, especially a lot of these major sports today, the social media piece is somewhat newer.
Mhm.
But you're really right on the forefront of taking that social media piece and the sport of hockey and bringing them together. What was the inspiration there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd take it back to when I was in school for sports business. There, one of my internships was with the Owen Sound Attack of the OHL, and because I was in school at the time, I was similar age to all the guys on the team, and knew some of them, played some against some of them growing up. So when I was in a sort of marketing internship there with the team, I think that they were all pretty warm and welcome to having me around and me being in the dressing room and interviewing them and talking with them kind of behind the scenes compared to some of the more experienced or older team members in the league with marketing. So I think when I was call it 18 or so there on my internship, I realized that guys did have an appetite to have personality and showcase what they're doing and talk about themselves, even though that isn't the hockey culture or the hockey norm, right? Everything's team first, and it still can be with social media. I think there's a million examples of that, and but I think I saw up close and personal early on that guys did want to dive into social media, and they'd all grown up with it, so they knew what they were doing. They had some followings locally, and that kind of just sparked in my mind that, hey, guys are into this, girls are into this. They want to talk about themselves on social media and get to meet people through it and network through it. So like I say, during COVID I graduated there, and social media kind of took off a little bit more when everybody's sitting at home on their phones, right? So I ended up working with a guy named JT Barnett. His dad, Mike Barnett's a famous NHL agent, GM, agent for Gretzky, Lemieux, a couple others along the way. So JT played some pro hockey himself, and he was big on social media during COVID, especially. But I mean, he's just continued from there. But we built a brand called Triple Deke, and it was all about guys in major, junior, in college, kind of showcasing their lives and their training during COVID. Because again, everybody was just sitting at home on their phones. So we had guys like Connor Bedard and Adam Fantilli and Matthew Nyes and Matty Beniers at home filming their workouts during COVID with their buddies. They're quarantined at their lake house, and they're doing their summer workouts and shooting pucks in the backyard. And we started to showcase some of that on Triple Deke. And again, it really just kind of reaffirmed that people are interested in social media. People want to see what these athletes and people that they know and look up to are doing. So those were really kind of the sparks for me in hockey social media, and led to what I'm doing today.
Yeah, great stuff. And I think you're right. I think people are always enamored by kind of seeing the curtain pulled down and seeing what's going on behind the scenes. Not that we're seeing everything, we're seeing what everybody wants us to see, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's always interesting to see that stuff. Now, before you started, founder or working in hockey, you were the co-owner of the Hockey Collective, and you recently exited that one. One of the, that was one of the biggest online hockey media outlets. How did that come to be? What was the impetus there?
Yeah, so I'll give full credit to my buddy Patrick Sheba. He started Hockey Collective in 2012, so way before I was on social media. Those were the
Really
early days of
early, yeah.
Instagram. He was one of the first hockey pages out there. And he always jokes that he's a big Habs fan, so he was always posting like Habs win memes and graphics and stuff on his personal Instagram. And his buddies were like, "What are you doing, man? Like, we don't want to see this. Like, we're Leafs fans, we're Sens fans, whatever it is. We don't want to see the Habs stuff." So he made a new account, Hockey Collective, there, and he built that up immensely over the years. And then when I was working with JT at Triple Deke, I got introduced to Pat in probably 2019, I'd say, and started working with him as well, and kind of worked our way up from there and continued to grow the page. And we ended up being co-owners of Hockey Collective there. And like you said, growing it to be one of the biggest reputable brands in kind of hockey media online there. So I think at the peak, we had about 440,000 followers on Instagram as our main outlet. And, I loved building that. And it's just a way to stay involved with the game, right? Like you said, and we were talking before hopping on here, there's so many good people in the game. And it's such a unique group of people in the hockey hockey world that Hockey Collective has always just been a great outlet for me to stay involved in the game and go to a local rink and be able to talk to somebody about it because they recognize the logo or the brand, or get invited to an NHL event and be able to talk with cool people there. So Hockey Collective was an awesome journey. I, like you said, ended up walking away from it here in December and left Pat the reins to continue growing Hockey Collective while I focus on working in hockey here. But yeah, immensely proud of what we built there. And again, a great audience because there's so many good people in the hockey world.
Sure. Well, let's pivot now to working in hockey because that's where you're at today, and that's where your effort and energy is really focused. On at this very moment. So, tell our listeners, what was the reasoning and why did you create working in hockey? What's it all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I say, again, kind of bringing it back to graduating during COVID was hard to find a job in hockey. And I think the more that I talked with people younger than me, older than me, whatever it was, everybody kind of had the same experiences of it's hard to break into the hockey industry. And that's where, again, I started creating my own things and kind of found different routes into the game and carved different paths there on the entrepreneurial side. But so many of my friends who went to sports management or sports business, or, they played college sports and they wanted to work within the game, they couldn't find a way in. For better or for worse, historically, it's been a lot about who you know. And that's how you get into a competitive industry, right? So I think working in hockey for me is really just trying to share and showcase everything that's out there in the industry, just to give people a fair shot, to give people, insight to what is out there, and to eliminate the fact that there isn't really a great way to apply to jobs these days. LinkedIn's a great platform. I love LinkedIn. It's probably my favorite social platform. But if you go on LinkedIn right now and you search hockey, the first 50 jobs that come up are all sponsored and none of them are hockey. If you search it, they are all healthcare jobs coming up. They're finance jobs coming up. They're companies who are paying for those promotion spots. Nothing about hockey's coming up until page 4, 5, 6 of
Wow.
your kind of LinkedIn page there. So basically, working in hockey, I have a free weekly newsletter every Monday that goes out. It has every single open hockey job in the industry that I can find. So I scour the internet. I go on every single team's website. I talk to hiring managers and recruiters with every team, every product company from CCM to Bauer to Sherwood, whoever it is. And I just culminate every single job that I can find in hockey, send it in one email, and then post as many of them as I can on social media as well. So again, for me, it's kind of just about increasing the transparency of what is out there. And, it's so cool when a job comes available with the Boston Bruins and I put it out there and all of a sudden I get 1,000 new followers from Boston and they all say, I didn't know this job was available, because they're not scouring the Bruins team site like I am maybe. But it's been an awesome journey so far. We've built an awesome community, and there's lots to come with working in hockey and kind of just helping people carve their own path and break into the industry. And it's been great to have, the podcast share people's stories and journeys, because no two paths into the industry are the same.
Right. So it just sounds like if you're listening to this and you or somebody is looking to break into working in hockey, you got to go see working in hockey, and you could probably, definitely go see all the open opportunities and start taking advantage of them today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the name is simple there, but I like
Easy.
simple things. I want people to know exactly what it is, and I was fortunate enough that handle was available because I like to keep it simple.
Yeah, and you have, and that makes it very easy. So, as an expert in social media, you've said people can use social to either entertain or educate. And, how can this be implemented by businesses, or entrepreneurs who are seeking to grow, or people who are looking to grow their personal brand, right? Because
Yeah.
these days it's not just, you're working for this company or you have this entrepreneurial journey. As you said earlier, these hockey guys want to also have their personal brands available. So I think there's a lot of uses for it. So how do they implement that, entertain or educate concept?
Yeah, it's a good question, and there's lots of ways you can go about it, but the entertain kind of bucket to me is, we think about the funny clips and reels that we see all the time, and different trends and memes and fail videos back in the day or whatever it is to entertain people. I think that kind of fits in that bucket, and what we're seeing a lot right now is the education bucket. I think so many people in the health and wellness space, or the nutrition space, or I get stretching videos and stuff all the time. Like, I think there's a lot of room in the education space right now on social media that anybody with a kind of small business or entrepreneurial journey there can educate people on what they're doing. And people are looking for solutions. People are like, oh, my back hurts today, but they don't necessarily go do anything about it. So, a chiropractor, somebody working in wellness can post a video about, hey, stretches for your back, do this for your back, fix your posture, whatever it may be. That educational bucket is really big right now. So social media, I always look at as educate or entertain, and different brands do it different ways. I always look at Poppy as a great example of kind of doing both, educating why their drink is better for you than other sodas or pops or whatever it is, but also entertaining with their bright colors and their influencers holding the drinks and whatever it is. And I mean, I believe they just recently sold for 2 billion to Pepsi, right? So
They
they're
did.
doing something right with kind of the entertain and educate side of things. And then to your point about athletes, I kind of put athletes, celebrities, influencers, whatever we want to say, in a third bucket there. So there's entertain, educate, and showcase. Showcase means you have enough of a following, people have enough of interest in you that you can just put out there what you're doing and people are going to care. Like,
Right.
you can just film what you're putting in your smoothie for breakfast. And if you're Connor Bedard or Connor McDavid, people are going to watch that. They're interested. They might not follow nutrition accounts, they might not follow health accounts, but if you just take them on a day in your life and show them behind the scenes in that kind of showcase bucket, people are going to care. So more and more influencers, micro influencers, people are able to showcase what they're doing. And I think that that's a huge bucket that athletes can continue to lean on, just showing them what it takes to be a top player in the NHL, or what it takes to be a Division 1 soccer player, what goes into the day to day. I think showcasing is kind of the big area of focus right now for athletes.
Imagine a relationship where financial conversations don't feel stressful, but actually bring you joy. We've designed a guide to help you have positive, meaningful money conversations with your partner. This isn't just another budgeting tool, it's a roadmap for building trust and connection. So if you're ready to start a joyful money journey with your partner, go to mitlin.us/couplesjoy and download your free guide. Transform your financial future together starting today. Yeah, I'm so it's so funny that you brought up Poppy because we were talking about that earlier this week because we're a big Shark Tank family, and they were on Shark Tank. They got a
Yeah,
deal with Rohan, and they weren't even named Poppy back then. So
right.
they've had such a great ride, and like you said, leveraging those areas has really risen them to the top and put them where they are today. So I think that's a great example of this, entertain and educate piece. And thank you for adding the showcase piece because I agree. People may not care what you and I are drinking for
Yeah.
breakfast or what have you, but Connor Bedard and Connor McDavid for sure. So, one of the things that I think dovetails really nicely into this concept of educate, entertain, and showcase is authenticity, right? I think authenticity is so important when it comes to social media. Why do you think that is?
I think that for so long, in so many different ways, mediums, platforms, we have been fed crap that now people can pick up on it and see it. I think the authenticity and originality just shine through more than ever right now because there are so many negative stories and copycat approaches to marketing, and like we talked about, big businesses struggling to entertain or educate, just throwing things out there and throwing money at it to get it in front of people's eyes and stuff. I think the accessibility that social media has brought over the last 5-10 years has just kind of ticked up our radars to see through the crap a little bit, and now people can focus on authentic content and original content, and more than anything, relatable content. That's what I'm looking for when I'm scrolling TikTok late at night or going through Instagram to find some new inspiration or whatever it may be. I'm looking for things that are relatable. And, keeping it in the hockey world, that's why I love like the Hockey House Pod, because they're solely focused on the ACHA world. That's relatable to people. It's attainable. We can say we want to go play ACHA hockey. It's probably a little bit more attainable than TSN or ESPN constantly posting NHL highlights. You and I aren't going to get there, unfortunately, anymore, Larry. So seeing these other teams and levels, the relatability is so important because that's what people gravitate towards. People like people. People gravitate towards people. They don't look for a brand or a logo as much as we did in the past. They're looking for people that have relatable stories, relatable kind of environments or backgrounds that they can look and say, hey, I really liked when Larry talked about that. I'm going to pick up on what he's doing over here because I realize that him and I are the same in this regard. I think relatability and authenticity are the two biggest things that I tell any creator, influencer, etc., looking to kind of start posting more online these days.
Yeah, I mean stories like yours. I mean, right here. And thank you for giving the Hockey House a shout out. I was a guest on their show. We actually talked about
Oh, perfect.
my son's journey to playing ACH,
Yeah,
collegiate hockey, and how that gets. I think some of those programs are even better than some of the higher end D3 programs at this point. It's kind of,
100%.
and they're getting nicer rinks these days. It's kind of crazy what's going on in that world. So
Absolutely.
so let's talk about some of the success, or what you thought was a success of working in hockey. And, we talk about educating and the power of social. And you shared how working in hockey, you had a post that received over 275,000 views and garnered the company that had the posting like 5,500 new followers. And at the end of the day, when you did this, the company wasn't really happy about it, ironically. And they HR had to sift through all these applications that resulted from the engagement. How do you work with a company like that in the situation that they're looking for this talent, right? They want to have applicants, but then you help them out and assist in kind of this distribution effort of getting them all of these opportunities, and then they're kind of disappointed. So how do we educate companies about the power of bringing eyes to their brand, to pump it up so they get more applications like this, and hopefully keep them happy about it, or at least educate them so they're not unhappy when you get that kind of reach?
Yeah, totally. And like you say, I thought I was doing a good thing, bringing applicants to these teams and companies. And, I still believe I am, and it's helping the people. So I'm going to continue doing it, even though some teams haven't been happy with the number of resumes or applicants that they've received for sure. But I think more than anything, and you see this all the time, Larry, people are hesitant to change. And,
Right.
they know what they're doing and they like the way that they know, and they want to stick to that. So, they're used to getting 100 applicants on the job, closing in a week and sifting through those 100 resumes, maybe print them and highlight them, and they have their process set and they want to keep going about that. So when all of a sudden they get 1,000 or a couple thousand, it's a bit of a change, a bit of a shock, but I think it's for the best. I think it's for the best because it's increasing transparency of these jobs. It's getting more people interested in your company. And, we see and you see with all the companies that you work with, data is everything these days. So a team, shouldn't you be happy that you just got 500, 1,000 college students who now reach out and you have their resume and contact information? If something else comes up, you can reach out or say, oh, you know what, this guy might be great for something else, or this girl might be a fit on this team. I think that that's a good thing, and it's about educating these teams to think so as well. But I never thought working in hockey would pick up as much as it did. Today, as we're recording this, we're in the 30,000 follower range on Instagram, and it's picked up more than I thought. And the cool thing, initially when I was trying to come up with an idea of what to do next and work on it, I landed on what do people need in the hockey industry? Do we need another stick? Do we need more tape? What is it, right? And me and a buddy jokingly said, like, well, everybody has a job. Everybody needs a job. And that's really the genesis of the idea. Is I was like, everybody needs a job and nobody's marketing them well. So I'm just trying to market the existing job postings better. So it picked up more than I thought. It's helped a lot of people land the jobs. And now it's just about trying to convince the teams to, work with me or come to me. And I can say, hey, I've got 10 kids who DM me last night that they're looking for an internship. Do you have a fit for any of these? They're all in your area. They've all graduated this, blah, blah, blah. Like trying to foster and build those relationships with the teams directly more now that it's built up so much, so that I can work more closely with them. And again, it's not about the money in a thing like this. It's more about kind of helping people and just creating a brand that has awareness for these teams to help them find good talent and help good talent get jobs, because there's too many smart people without jobs these days, and just trying to help them.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they have to open up their minds a little bit, right? Because if you just don't want to have the same pool of people applying to team after team after team, right? Because they're the only ones that know how to follow it, find the jobs where they are and where, what exists. You got to open it up to a greater pool. And I think that just helps elevate the team. It elevates their team. They just have to figure out the process on how do we manage, instead of 100, how do we manage 1,000? And
Totally.
they have to figure that out, because it's only going to make their environment and their structure a lot better. So let's talk about something I talk about with my boys, and we do with our team here at Mitlin. You early on, you were told to take group photos during hockey games. What do you think it says about the hockey culture that players share group photos? Going back to what you said earlier, right? Just to kind of tie it in, you talked about the players having their individual identities, and players being for the most part team oriented. And if you see a lot of the videos that are put out, even though it's individual, at some point they talk about their team, right? Because they can't disconnect from that. So, what do you think it says about the sport that there's such a tendency to take these group photos, and the culture that exists in the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. I think hockey has the best kind of team culture of any sport, and I know I'm biased with that, but I think the team nature, the team first mentality in hockey is unlike any other sport, and that's one of the things that I love about the game. That's one of the reasons I love hiring people who have played hockey or come up through some form of hockey. I think they have a great sense of teamwork and collaboration and community, and I think it's a good thing for the game. Like we said earlier, people are more interested to share kind of their successes, their stories, etc., online these days. But yeah, that kind of teaching or guidance came when, again, I was with the Attack in the OHL there, and we had guys who would, somebody would get a hat trick. They wouldn't want to post the picture that we posted of them with all the hats around them, and we're like, oh, that's such a cool shot. Like, why won't they post that? But they would rather post that so and so got their first point in the OHL, right? They want to be a team first person. They want to be a team guy. They want to celebrate the successes and victories of their teammates there. So I think that kind of changed my thinking on it a little bit to, hey, we got to get the guys celebrating together after they score, or we got to get a picture of the bench reacting when so and so gets their first point, or the goalie gets a shutout, all the guys running over to jump on him and hug him, like that sort of thing. So from a marketing standpoint, that's where we kind of shifted to group photos, and I know a lot of teams and photography teams are told to do similar today. I always look, and I know I'm a bit of a biased Toronto Maple Leafs fan, but I always look at Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner's kind of social feeds to see what they're doing, because both of them are very active on social media, kind of that new wave of players getting out there and putting stuff out there. Both of them make millions and millions in endorsements and brand deals, but both of them post about each other more than they post about themselves. When Matthews gets a hat trick, he posts a picture of him and Marner hugging, saying like Marner's 100th assist of the season or whatever it is, right? When Matthews gets a hat trick, Marner posts about him and says, heart emoji and 3 hat emojis, and he doesn't put anything else up about himself, right? They're happy for their teammates, and again, I think that's a good thing about the hockey culture and kind of the way that we've all been brought up through the hockey system. But I think it's sort of starting to expand a little bit more with the social media focus.
Yeah. And listen, your Toronto Maple Leafs took my Rangers last night. Not to date this or anything, but
I was there. It was
oh,
a it
were
was a
you?
great game for my side.
Okay, yeah, it's not good, not good. But the only benefit out of the Rangers probably not making the playoffs. We'll see when this goes live if they did or didn't. The only benefit I get is my tickets don't increase in price for next season, so I got to take the benefits where they got. So one of the things that was unbelievable in 2025 so far is the Four Nations face-off. Right, hockey garnered more eyes on hockey than ever before. I think fans who never knew what the sport was or is now has an indication or was really interested in it. So what I want to do is kind of help the young athletes that are out there, and this is hockey or really any sport. What tips do you have for young athletes who want to grow their social footprint to help leverage their personal brand? Because I think that's something that, the 5-year-old hockey player today, or the 10-year-old lacrosse player today, or the 8-year-old soccer player has different than when you and I were playing, because we didn't have NIL. We didn't have the ability, social wasn't as prevalent, but they do. So, what advice do you have for those young folks who are going to start building their personal brand to do that effectively?
Absolutely. This is a little bit more on the sports side of things than the media side of things, but I'm always a big proponent of playing multiple sports when you grow up. I think that that's so important. I think so many people specialize in just one sport and focus too much on hockey all year round. I think my best hockey skills came from playing baseball and soccer and tennis and whatever it was with my friends, right? So I think the multi-sport on the development side of things is super important for youth athletes today. But I also think getting that to the media side of things, playing multiple sports allows you to meet so many more people. And it gets you into different friend groups, and you get to meet different people from different schools and different towns, maybe on your travel baseball team or soccer team when you're outside of hockey. So I think from kind of the personal side of things, playing multiple sports just allows you to get to know so many more different people and get yourself in different kind of groups and environments, etc., that do help you as you grow up later in life. And then if you want to talk about kind of the social media presence side of things, if you've got 15 guys that you played baseball with and 15 guys that you played soccer with and 15 guys you played hockey with, you can start to post content that applies to all of them, coming back to the relatability. You're not just focused on posting hockey content, but maybe when you're in high school there, you can start posting about your soccer games or, your baseball training routine and all these different things. So I think the wider you can kind of spread your footprint and web there from a young age is always good. And, I don't want to tell middle schoolers to be worried about their social media brand today, but it's the reality is that they're starting to make accounts and put themselves out there and all those things. And again, we touch on kind of ACHA and NCAA, and I think having a bit of a social media following coming into your college applications and looking to go play college sports, I think that is super helpful as well. Obviously, have to keep it professional and clean and everything on your feed, which is sometimes a tricky thing for high schoolers to convince them
Right.
to do. But if you can, if you're coming out of high school baseball and you've got 3,000 followers and you post your highlight reel at shortstop on your Instagram page, that might land you a scholarship or a spot on a team today. It sounds crazy, but that's the reality. Coaches, scouts, they're looking you up online. They're trying to see what you do. So people who are interested or serious about kind of taking their sports and their social media to the next level, I think they kind of go hand in hand. Got to keep it clean, got to be strategic with what you're doing, but you can use it as a tool to get yourself out there more, get yourself seen, and hopefully progress to that next level.
Yeah, it's so I think it's so important. And I think to your point that 8-year-old middle schooler, probably their parents are more concerned about their social presence than they are. But well, Nick, it's been a great having you on the show, and we end each of our shows asking our guests the same final question, because our listeners are always tuning in for this one, because we are the Mitlin Money Mindset. We're all about joy, and that is, what did you do today that brought you joy and put you in the right mindset for success?
It's a great question. I love the question, Larry. And I was thinking about this on my walk in because I was like, yeah, it's kind of early. I haven't done much today yet, but I got two for you. So one simple one. I play the games on LinkedIn every single morning. I think I've got like a 120-day streak. I love the silly little puzzle games that they have on LinkedIn. That brings
Okay.
me joy. The minute I wake up and go get some water, go to the bathroom, I sit down at my desk and play the LinkedIn games every morning. I love those. Don't know what it is about them. The second one, thinking about it on my walk walk in here this morning. Like I said, I'm in New York City now, but I'm from small town Ontario. I don't love taking the subway here. I've changed up my path a little bit now that the weather's nicer outside, and I walk down Park Ave most mornings to the office here. And that, to your kind of question about the mindset for success, I love walking out there and seeing everybody on their way to work. And, you walk past the Ferrari dealership and the Porsche dealerships here, and everybody's walking to the big financial offices. That has helped my kind of morning mindset so much, just walking in, seeing everybody grinding, looking for success, looking to get to the next level. I cherish that walk down Park Ave in the mornings now.
Sounds like a great way to kick off the day. So thank you for
Yes.
sharing that, Nick. So listen, we're going to have all your information in the show notes, but if people want to learn more about you, learn more about working in hockey, right? What's the easiest and the best place for them to go do that?
Absolutely. At Working in Hockey on Instagram or LinkedIn, those are our two biggest followings. Those are the two platforms I check the most, and can always message myself on either as well. Nick Bowins on both Instagram and LinkedIn there. I try to get back to everybody via DM or otherwise. I answer every DM personally, email, DM, whatever it is. Reach out to the platforms. I'm here to help. That's the goal with Working in Hockey, is just help, whether that's a simple conversation, a resume review, or, putting you in touch with somebody. That's my goal with Working in Hockey, and happy to help anybody along the way.
Great stuff. So if you're looking to work in hockey, or you know somebody who is, steer them to Working in Hockey. You cannot forget that, Instagram page, URL, etc. So make sure you check it out. And Nick, it's been a pleasure having you on. I appreciate you, and enjoy your day.
Thanks so much, Larry. Continued success.
Nick, what an incredible conversation. Your passion for hockey, branding, and building opportunities for others is truly inspiring. From growing Hockey Collective into a massive community to helping people break into the industry with Working in Hockey, you've shown us the power of creativity, connection, and authenticity. Thank you for sharing your journey, insights, and game-changing strategies with us today. I know our listeners are walking away fired up and ready to take action. Keep doing what you do. We'll be cheering you on every step of the way. Nick Bowins and Working in Hockey can be found across most social media platforms. All the contact information needed to find them can be found in the show notes.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Mitlin Money Mindset. Remember, it's not just about the money, it's finding joy in the journey and embracing the right mindset. If you love the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Don't forget to follow along for more tips and inspiration. Please visit the social links below to connect with Larry or his guests. Until next time, keep smiling, keep thriving, and remember to think about, what did you do today that brought you joy?
The opinions voiced in the Mitlin Money Mindset Show with Lawrence Sprung are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy ensures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Guests on the Mitlin Money Mindset Show are not affiliated with CWM LLC.